Hey Alice, thank you very much for joining for our discussion
Thank
today.
you.
That would be definitely a really interesting conversation. And today we have a new guest in our podcast, I would say. We're going to talk with Alice Taylor, the founder of Glyde. Hey Alice.
How's it going? You all right?
Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, feeling good. Busy, but good.
Yeah, a lot of things coming on both sides, I guess. Yeah, and definitely that's going to be an interesting conversation. For the 4 years, I guess, we have had a very successful collaboration, and I can't wait to dive into our discussion today and the insights we have learned from collaborating with each other. Could you tell, please, what does the Glide do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ellis, CEO and co-founder of Glyde. So Glyde is a treasury software platform built specifically for SMEs. You may not know, but 55% of UK SMEs trading overseas struggle from unfair pricing. 45% struggle with execution delays, i.e. paying suppliers at the right time. And 42% struggle with reporting delays, i.e. updating accounting software. And that comes from a report from Neo. And what does it tell us? It tells us that 1 in 2 SMEs nearly struggle with one of these pain points. And so when it comes to SME international payments, something is fundamentally broken. What does Glyde do? It looks to solve those 3 pain points in a single workflow. So we allow SME customers to pick the rates at which they pay their suppliers. So no hassle with unfair pricing, attach payments automatically, and reconcile accounts in a single workflow. So you pay suppliers at the rates you choose, not the rates that you're given by a bank or broker. And that's the solution.
Brilliant, brilliant. And can you share with our audience and to the people how the Glide started?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's quite a long story, but I'll keep it short for you. I left law school, found myself working at a legacy currency brokerage, and was just quite struck by kind of what I saw as a sales individual there. SMEs had a huge appetite for basically simple self-service currency solutions. They want autonomy over their foreign exchange workflows. As brokers, we weren't prepared to offer that, mainly because we had to maximize what we made on individual customers. And as soon as you give that level of control, you effectively say, actually, there's not a real need for me as an intermediary. And that's a big no-no if you're a service-driven industry that requires you to pick up the phone constantly to businesses. And so I thought I want to solve this problem. And I've got a very talented software engineer brother, so I've got the skill sets behind me to do it. So I quit, started a white label, so we licensed tech elsewhere, and started capturing SME customers, talking to them, and just saying, hey, look, we're aware of these pain points. We know you want something that's really easy for you to use so that we can alleviate these pain points. What does that product look like to you? So we spent a good 2 to 3 years building that feedback, building traction so that we could justify the model worked. And that leads us nicely to today, where we're just around the corner really from closing a fundraising round, which is very exciting. Looking to put Glyde in the hands of every SME we can, first in the UK and then globally. And a really exciting product roadmap ahead too. So yeah, stay tuned for Glyde.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, and I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah, that's definitely a very interesting story, Alice. And definitely, there are a lot of things that we have to find out during this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Depends on the people's journey in every business, right? It's its own journey and how basically they need to overcome a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
But in Glide's story, what was the biggest challenge or challenges you faced in bringing it to life?
I would say in the early days, testing and validating product market fit. Obviously, we didn't really have any customers upon leaving my job, so I had to go out and get them myself. So we started a white label beta product called Integritas as a means to actually get customers that would give us the feedback we needed to build the product. I felt like in the industry, there's a big disconnect between sales who talk to customers and tech who build for customers. And obviously, as my brother as a software engineer and me as a disgruntled sales guy or FX broker, the team dynamic worked well. But actually getting those customers together took some time. You know, it's a tough industry to sell in, and And ultimately, that was the biggest challenge, right? Because we needed those customers to say, hey, look, we know you have an appetite for currency management automation. We know it needs to be easy for you to understand, but what actually does that product look like? And that was probably the biggest challenge for us.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Alice. That's quite interesting also for people to learn more how the businesses are getting started and what kind of challenges they're facing first years of their journey. The next question that I got for today is, why did you decide to partner with us, with ElifTech, for the front end development and the back end development, and what were your main expectations?
It's an interesting one. It's actually cold outreach by Ilya. Obviously she understand, like, well, she knew what we was trying to do from the LinkedIn post I've made, and she made a really good introduction. And so I just took the call off the whim because it was good timing. And got to know her and Victoria over for a call. And then what I quickly learned is that for a product like ours, it's not really enough to just be considered like new business to an agency who's going to develop a product or an MVP for you. You really need a partner who buys into your vision and like genuinely wants to see you succeed. And we got that very early on from ElifTech. You know, they took the time to understand our target customers. They took the time to understand, you know, why we were doing what we wanted to do, and in turn that allowed us to actually address customer pain points in ways that we hadn't even thought of before. Mikola and Yuri both made really incredible contributions in terms of UX that we hadn't thought of. You know, they took the initiative to say, I think this customer might really benefit from this kind of batch payment mechanism or workflow, or actually the live charting software could be simplified to make it a little bit easier for the customer to navigate. And it has really helped shape the MVP to what it is today. Like I couldn't speak more highly of ElifTech. I'm not just saying that because we're on a video call together. Like I genuinely couldn't, because we worked together for 3 years now, probably coming up to 4 years now. Everything I need has always been available to me. If you know, if things are tight for us because we're going through the teething problems of fundraising, they have a lot of flexibility. And ultimately, this partnership's long term, right? This isn't about we need an software development company to build us an MVP. It's we want a partner who's going to follow us on this journey and who we can rely on when challenges present themselves. Because trust me, I can imagine they will, right? Probably.
Yeah. I think that's a huge problem right now, that a lot of software development vendors just do business and they're not thinking for the long-term journey, long-term relationships that are much, much more important than just to develop something or provide even though they can be an experts in some sort of a things, but sometimes it's not that important as to build quite mature, transparent, and very fair communication in the processes with the company, where afterward you become a tech partner which you can rely on, and basically their expertise could help you through entire journey, starting from startup, then become a scale up, and then become a mature business. That's what we at ElifTech do, and we have quite a lot of cases where still technical partner for different financial institutions, and they're still having their in-house team, but they rely on our expertise. So definitely I understand that basically the relationships and the expertise and trust and transparency is the key to success, is the key to scalability. Yeah, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, Valeria as well is another one that I can't speak more highly of. You know, it's like if you go use a service provider a lot of the time, it's you're billed on the time they spend working on your project, billable hours. It's just standard. But we haven't experienced that with ElifTech. You know, I've said to people in your team, hey, we're fundraising right now. Our investors or potential investors are asking for X, Y, and Z. We need to show a clear product roadmap. I need you to give me estimations for these different phases so that we can obviously present them. like, we weren't charged for that. You know, they did that off their own back because they actually wanted to help. And I don't think there are vast numbers of companies in any market that are willing to go above and beyond like that consistently. And I think
Yeah.
that's an important point to make, because we're a startup, you know, and you have to lean on people quite heavily a lot of the time, and be quite persistent, to be fair. But I've not had to be persistent with ElifTech. I've asked for things that people require in order for us to push the business forward, and a week later I have the documents or the presentation or whatever it is it might be right in front of me, and you know, I couldn't praise the team more.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad hearing that prideful things about our team, and this is our mindset to basically not to build a product, but
Well, to help propel it, right? That's the important thing. Like,
yeah, exactly. You're totally right.
and thinking long term, I think that's the main thing that really differentiated ElifTech from other service providers we looked at. It's okay, great, it's amazing. We can't wait to get excited on this project. How do you see that transpiring? What is the evolution of Glyde over a period of time? Because maybe we can help you now prepare or put some suggestions in that may help you to get to that next stage. Which actually, in this industry in particular, you have to be very receptive to and
Exactly.
aggressive with your GTM. You look at Revolut, you know, they're incredible. They have one product and then a week later another product, and their competitors are finding it very difficult to keep up with them when they're competing in so many different segments within finance. I actually see that as our opportunity in when looking at the SME market, but that's a story for another day.
Absolutely, that we can dive into this and in another session, because it's a lot of things to discuss, and surely we can keep that. But basically, on the last statement that you mentioned, can you highlight for me, or maybe we can discuss what kind of lessons you have learned working together with ElifTech to finalize and improve the platform and for the future development? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you can start with the biggest one, and maybe
I
or to
thought about,
highlight.
I thought about this quite a lot actually, in terms of what lessons I learned when specifically thinking about the work that we've done with your team outside of all the other challenges. And the main one was balancing aesthetics and functionality is what I came down to, in the sense that a strong UI, like, it's amazing, right? You want the most beautiful product that people are going to go, wow, that's a really, you know, very aesthetically pleasing product. But it kind of needs to align with the back end's capabilities too, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where you have performance trade-offs because, you know, you've got an amazing front end, but the back end suffers because of it. And my brother's made that very clear. I've got let's do this, let's do that. I want all these amazing features, and you can't do that. You have to really balance the two, and that is a big lesson I learned working with ElifTech in particular, because there have been times where I've got pushback, not just from my brother, but from ElifTech in the right way. You know, like, this is great, but just so you're aware, the trade-off is this. And if I honestly, if I had just gone, do this, do that, without the help of the team around us, the product would probably look very different right now. It might look very beautiful, but the back end might be a little bit wonky. but thankfully, we're not in that position, because everyone has their own skill sets, and you come together and you contribute as a team to build the MVP as robust and as beautiful as it can be, right?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for sharing this. I'm pretty sure whoever is going to watch our interview, maybe will think how software development vendor could help to financial companies. And whoever is also watching, please check out Glyde. Maybe that would be it would be interesting for your business or for your networking to learn more about the Glyde and the services they provide. Thank you very much, Alice, for the time joining today with me for this short conversation. I think we can dive deeper into some specific topics to discuss with the people and to hear their feedback. Please leave the comments below or ask any questions. We'll be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.